Hey everybody, welcome to the MMA Heat podcast. I'm Karyn Bryant.
And Alan Jouban.
A lot of talk about this week. We'll obviously talk about UFC Mexico. Talk about John Jones' situation. There's a little show called 205 coming up.
I never heard of it.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't know.
Is it Albuquerque or Wyoming?
Yeah.
Fight week, baby.
In NYC. It's going to be great. So we'll be there doing various things. You've got a seminar going on, right?
Paradise Warrior Retreat. Busy weekend.
Yeah, nice. First, though, I need to mention your friend who makes cheesecake.
Oh.
So Wade went over, I was working at Fox, Wade went over to your house and made the mistake of bringing me back some cheesecake that your friend made. It dude. Dude, I kind of lost my mind. I kind of lost my mind when I had some of it. It was ridiculous.
I gotta give her a shout out. Robin Holbrook, Lafayette, Louisiana. Hornet Halo might even be her company or whatever, but she's staying at my house for 2 weeks. Every night she asks, what do you guys want for dinner? Gumbo, boudin, cheesecake, key lime pie. It's crazy. And I brought some to Karyn.
It's one of those things where you're like, oh, great, thanks.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to not eat it.
But it's bomb.
God. Ridiculous.
The gumbo's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
So does she have a catering business?
I think she on again, off again. I don't even know.
Does she want to move in with? No, I can't. Exactly. I wouldn't be able to keep her here.
But she loves to cook like I love to fight. And anytime you're passionate about something and you're good at it, then she makes some bomb food, man. She's been a good guest, and I'm not kicking her out anytime soon.
I'm very good at eating. I'm a really good eater. So. So I actually don't want to be friends with her, but thank you for bringing that over.
I'll tell you that.
Oh my God, it was stupid. I literally had where I was holding on to the counter, oh my God.
Yeah, I'm a cheesecake guy.
I did. Well, you already had some there.
I wouldn't mind another.
He's all like, oh, I don't eat sweets anymore. Good, cool, more for me.
Yeah, it was good, man.
Anyway, yeah. So. UFC Mexico, the main event, Tony Ferguson defeated Rafael dos Anjos, the former champion, 3 rounds to 2. That's how I saw it. I had Tony winning 2 and 4. I had RDA winning 1 and 3. Because right when we were going into the 5th round, I had tweeted out, okay, I think it's tied up. Mm-hmm. And I saw, obviously, Tony getting round 5. So I saw it 3 to 2. How'd you see it?
Man, I can't remember the rounds. I remember thinking that it was was it the second round? Wait, you were there with me. Was it the second round that we were kind of torn on?
Tony warmed up in the second round. He got his jibe going, but...
No, I thought it was it.
You were... No. 3 was RDA again. But see, here's the thing. I think the first round was definitely Rafael more. Tony didn't land as much stuff.
Yeah, first round definitely.
But the second
RDA.
round is when he warmed up and got going. But yes, I guess if you're talking about you're not sure who could have gone to, I feel like maybe it was that one that...
Yeah, I don't remember what round, but definitely Tony. And the funny thing about I made the mistake on this card about looking at this card on paper. I was like, okay, RDA is a former champion. He's a jiu-jitsu black belt. He's a fantastic striker. He's a pressure fighter. Tony is Tony. He makes shit happen, but what is he going to do?
But he's an Eddie Bravo, brown belt at this point, isn't he?
Yes, right. And see, that was what I was worried about. Tony spent a lot of time, a lot of attention working his jiu-jitsu for this fight, and I didn't really see him working that much striking, and I was kind of thinking, is he planning on being on his back or on top, trying to shoot a darce in? Did he work a lot of his striking? But Tony has a way of just freestyling it, man, and just making shit happen, and he outstruck the striker with crazy numbers, you told me.
Yes, so he set a record, 199 significant strikes landed. That was the second most significant strikes ever landed in a fight, second to Nate Diaz, who landed 238 in a fight. And Rafael, though, landed 121 significant strikes. So combined, I believe that it was the 5th most in a UFC lightweight fight. But yeah, Tony, that's the thing. And I don't know if he would call himself a slow starter, but he seemed there. And we were even commenting in the studio, is he nervous? Because he didn't quite look the same right away. A lot of times Tony comes out and he's just much more improvisational and much more, just kind of seems looser and freestyles more. And we thought in that first round, maybe he recognized the bigness to be Trumpish here. Bigly, he had to pay attention, and that Rafael was a different kind of fighter, and this was going to be a little bit trickier to maybe get his flow going, but he certainly did. And so like I said, I gave Tony 2 and 4 and 5. Here's the thing, a lot of people were saying that since he left King's MMA, maybe Dos Anjos was going to fight differently, maybe he was going to be a different guy. I didn't think he fought badly.
No.
I'm curious about you if we thought, because in the studio we were saying whoever comes forward, whoever keeps that forward pressure is going to probably be the winner. Lights, we're losing. We got the strobe lights going
on. Yeah.
Ooh. But I don't know how you thought about Rafael, how he performed.
The only thing that I really picked up that I noticed from Rafael was he was not committing to his shots. He was shooting in on Tony, and he was doing something that I do a lot in wrestling that I'm always working on. He was getting it deep, but then not pursuing it after. And I think what was going on in his head was he was worried about the darces. He knew he was the better overall jiu-jitsu practitioner over Tony, but Tony is the better black belt at 2 or 3 submissions when it comes to grabbing the head. Tony is a master at the Darce choke or the anaconda choke. When he gets your neck, you don't want to be in there. And I think Dos Santos, it was in his head. He when he would shoot in,
right where you're
he would get in, and then when he should have tried to pursue the takedown, as soon as Tony would show some hips or try to put a choke armor on it, he would back out. And from there, he just kind of like, it gave Tony confidence, you know? And one thing that I remember from the fight, I remember in between rounds, they were showing the cornerman talking to Tony, and Eddie Bravo was in there. And Eddie Bravo just kept saying, like, I don't, you know, if it's not jiu-jitsu, Eddie's not a stand-up guy. You know, he'll tell you, he's not a stand-up guy. But he was reading Tony's emotion. He was like, man, you're having fun now. You're having fun.
Exactly.
And that's what it was, man. Tony was having fun. I mean, he was throwing in like some salsa dancing. He did some spins.
He did the cha-cha a little bit.
He did a little bit of everything. And when Tony's having fun, then he's confident and he's fighting good. And that's what happened. At first, I think he was trying to be technical, and it got in his head. Second round came along, and he started having fun and realizing, man, I could just do me. I could freestyle it and beat this guy. And he carried that through the rest of the fight.
Yeah, I agree. And one thing too, though, I think it was in the second round, though, that there was that eye poke, and I hate that, because we really have no idea of how bad that hurt Dos Anjos. Obviously, he put his big boy pants on that day, and so he just toughed through it. But we have really no idea how bad that hurt him. And again, like I said, I don't think Rafael did a bad job. I think Tony was just, you know, again, the whole better man. But it's tricky, because that's 2 in a row for a former champion. You know, we saw that Anthony Pettis went on a little bit of a slide before coming back. So I wonder about the headspace, you know, if it was too much to, you know, have your camp disrupted and that kind of thing before such an important fight. But it also could be that Tony, that's 9 in a row. Yeah. That's an incredible thing to have that many win streaks this is the longest win streak in UFC lightweight history. He's got the 3rd most in UFC active fighters, the longest streak. It goes, Demetrius Johnson's is right above him, and John Jones has, it's like 16, 10, and 9 for Tony.
Gotcha.
The guy's just in the zone. I feel like he's got to get the title shot next. I don't know, you know, Khabib will complain, I beat RDA. Well, so now did Tony. You can't put together 9 in a row and not get a title shot.
Tony's been more active. That's the thing.
Yeah,
maybe Khabib is the killer that nobody wants to face, but you said it. He's got a 9-fight win streak. He's staying extremely active, and he's he's bringing exciting fights. I mean, not only is this a 9-fight win streak, but this is probably a 9-fight bonus in a row. I mean, he gets a bonus every single time he fights, because he brings it. He does fun stuff. I was rooting for Tony, but like I said, I made the mistake of looking at it on paper, thinking, how is he going to win this fight? I won't make that mistake again. Tony brings it every time. He finds a way to win. He's not like you would say, he's a better striker than Dos Anjos, but he outstruck Dos Anjos. And it blows my mind.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. Right before that, in the co-main event, we had Diego Sanchez and Marcin held. Now, and one of the things that we have to remind people, or obviously they know, but Mexico City, very, very, very high elevation, right? So Tony and Rafael both prepared very well for that. I didn't think that either of them slowed down. The pace to me was very good still. Rafael had gone to Mammoth. Tony went to Big Bear. So in this fight, Sanchez and Marcin Held, you know, Diego trains at Jackson's, which is a higher elevation. Marcin Held admitted after the fight, he said, that's no joke. Like, that altitude got to him. And, you know, he basically he's known for his leg locks. He's got 12 submission victories. 6 of those are by leg lock. A couple of those are even toe hold. He went for that heel hook stuff early, but he just never gave up on that strategy when it wasn't working.
He made that mistake, man, of not knowing when to abort. You know, I learned this early in my career. I'm a jiu-jitsu guy under Eddie Bravo, so obviously we always train off of our back and we train rubber guard. And I fought in a fight one time where 5 rounds, I lost a 5-round title fight in the RFA because I was going for rubber guard the entire time, and it just wasn't there. But I just never clicked in my head. You know what? Get the hell up.
Try something else, right?
And that's what Marcin Held should have done. Look, you go for the submission. You fight. There's always a small battle. Nothing's ever given to you in submission game unless you take it right away. After that, you go for the battle, the 30-second battle. If it's not there, work your way out. Right. He kept going to it, and anytime there was a 50-50 position, he would just kind of like flop over,
right,
giving Diego the top position. And Diego, I mean, he's getting older, he's getting slower, but he's still a very experienced guy. He knows these things. He knows how to get out of certain submissions. And you saw the hip flexibility and dexterity on Diego.
Exactly.
That's what helped him. A lot of guys that didn't have that hip flexibility might have gotten caught, but he was able to continually bend his leg, and feel safe, and he got out of it.
Yeah, there were some positions where the guy, I guess it was Bryant or John, when they were calling the fight, they mentioned the fact that he's done yoga all his life.
I remember that,
And, you know, obviously that made a good, that helped him a lot. He just kind of kept at it and, you know, was just very frustrated. I'm thinking Marcin's probably sitting there like, are you kidding me? Like, this dude is still like, because it works on a lot of people, obviously. And I wonder what happens to your mind's, your headspace when you're trying something that usually works on other people and it doesn't work on you, how much, you know, defeat he started to feel. I'm curious what you think of Diego's escape when he started to climb up the wall. Yeah. Like, that was pretty badass.
Yeah, it was dope. I mean, like, I've been in that position. You know, somebody locks in a choke or something on you, and then they try to smash you against the wall, and there's nowhere to go but up, really. I mean, you know, the lower you go, the deeper the choke gets. So he said, shit, I'm just going to climb the cage. He got out of it. He shucked them off. He did. At that point, this technique goes out of the window. It's survive.
Right.
Do whatever it takes. And he did whatever it took, pretty or not. I liked it. But he got out of the choke and ended up getting the win.
I thought it was badass. Speaking of chokes, too, Ricardo Lamas submitted Charles Oliveira. Now, that's 2 submission losses in a row for Oliveira. He lost to Anthony Pettis at the end of August. It was a tough first round for Ricardo. It was not looking good for Ricardo. And we're sitting there and we're like, dude, just hang on. Because there was only, you know, not that many seconds left in the end of the first round. But Oliveira was putting the hurt all over him. So props to Lamas for coming out of that and staying, you know, just staying in the game, never giving up and getting in the second. That was a really, really sweet way he finished it. Yeah.
I mean, like you said, Oliveira's a jiu-jitsu black belt, and he's notable for finishing people with spectacular finishes. He's great on the ground, very dangerous on the ground. And now he's coming off of 2 submission losses by the same choke, 2 guillotines. I don't remember if they were both arm in or not, but either way, you know, that has to be a little hurt of pride. You know what I mean? That was his game. That was his go-to, and now he's getting finished by it. But, you know, to me, the story surrounding this fight was, A, you said it, they were fighting at elevation. So taxing, so tiring on you, and B, he missed weight by 9 pounds. He had to cut weight the day of the fight to make sure that because he missed weight, they took 30% of his purse, and then he had to weigh in only 10 pounds more than that weight.
He couldn't exceed 165.
Exactly. So he had to cut a little weight, work out the day of, and I don't think he flew down early either, right?
No.
He didn't go and acclimate to the environment. So the percentages were going against him. The odds were going against him that he was going to do well. But like you said, he had a strong round.
He did.
And then, he got caught, man. But
I think that's why he had such a good first round. And I said this to the guys that, like, I feel like he went in there. He knew the urgency. I'm not acclimated. I'm not going to have the gas tank for all these rounds. I got to do it quickly. So I feel like that's why he was so explosive and got, you know, really put it on Ricardo in that first round, because he knew what he had to do. You know, and it's tough. I mean, because I really like watching him fight. Yeah. But it sucks to not make weight, and he's done it a lot. A lot of times he's missed weight. He's a big guy, so it's like, hey, maybe you should just go to. I forget. I looked it up. If he's 5'11" or straight up 6 feet or whatever, that he needs to just maybe fight at lightweight, because he's missed weight a lot. And
9 pounds is not missing weight. That's just you got completely
Did you see that kick?
You didn't take a wrong turn.
You saw that onside kick, right? Was it the Raiders, that onside kick that just got like totally jacked up yesterday?
The Rams.
I
saw the Rams.
Yeah, so he kicked it. He made weight about as well as that guy onside.
Yeah, it's supposed to maybe hit the ground and go up in the air, not 40 yards past it. Yeah.
Or no, it was the guy that like stepped up, tried to kick it behind with the back foot.
I didn't see that.
No, it's ridiculous. And it literally, he like almost tripped trips on the ball and wipes
man.
out. It's so bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad. But I guess my point with that is that
Wasn't even
Lamas
close.
but Lamas is such a good fighter. I hate that there's been times when he hasn't made weight and done this because it takes away from when he does win a fight if he didn't make weight.
Yeah.
And it's happened before.
But I tell you what, he got 30% of his purse, so I'm sure he wasn't complaining. Did he get a bonus for that win?
Yeah, Lamas got a performance bonus, I believe,
Nice.
and he got 30% of because the other bonus went to Douglas Silva de Andrade for that spinning back fist finish.
Man, that dude is jacked up,
Dude,
by the way.
I know.
Like,
Didn't you tweet? You and
I might
Alan
have
was
tweeted-
like,
I mean-
has that guy peed in the cup lately?
I'm
I
just
don't know.
saying, like, that
You're
dude-
he was like, oh.
I'm not accusing. I mean, maybe I am, but whatever. I'm not accusing
we
him.
need
I
the
got nothing
Kermit the
against him.
Frog meme of Alan going, that guy's really big, but that's none of my business.
But like, I know what natural looks like. I see guys that work out, but that dude, like before the fight, when we're loose, he had veins coming out of his triceps and like unnatural looking stuff. And I was like, this guy, has he been tested? Because that guy is shredded, man. He looks like a bodybuilder. He's got good genetics. If you're clean, you're shredded, dude. Props to you. But damn.
Not trying to be a hater. Speaking of medication and
I was like shredded.
big things that you're not supposed to take. John Jones has now been suspended for a year. It's retroactive to July 6th. A 3-person panel decided that his Cialis or whatever he claims he took.
Don't take Cialis. Don't take Viagra. Apparently.
That it did have this substance in it that he wasn't supposed to take, and that he is at fault for taking it. It's not that you can just claim, oh, I didn't know. Look, you're taking it. You need to do that. And so, he's out for a year.
I'm kind of blown away by this because, I haven't been keeping up with the case too much, but months ago, I feel like John Jones started kind of putting stuff out in the press. He's like, you're going to be seeing me sooner rather than later. Things seem to be going good in favor of him coming back really soon. And then this happens. Now he's out for a year, although it'll be a year from when he was busted, which is July or whatever. So, but man, John just, I don't know. I'm not trying to, kick a guy when he's down, but it just seems like he cannot stay out of trouble or whatever. This is something that already happened. It's not like a new incident, but now he's suspended for a year, and it's tarnishing his legacy so much. He could be the GOAT, he could be the greatest of all time, and it's always going to have this, like, we're always going to think of John Jones as something else on the side, like not the great fighter.
And it sucks because, he's gifted. He's truly gifted, and sometimes that's what I wonder is the curse. What is that whole phrase like? Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Yeah. And you wonder sometimes about people who are so gifted and who maybe haven't really been challenged. And so, like he can take shortcuts and still beat people. Maybe not train, maybe party the night before certain fights. Because I've heard this from people close to the situation that there have been times, where he's partying pretty hard the night before or whatever. I don't know what he was doing, but just out late. Let's just put it that way. Whereas somebody else might be like trying to get 20 hours of sleep, and he just had those natural gifts. So you wonder how much that plays on the confidence and the invincibility element, and the I'll never get caught in any of this stuff, and everything rolls off me. And you wonder. He keeps saying, I've hit rock bottom, or this is my wake up call. He keeps saying it, so it's like I want to believe it, but which one is it? Which
Can you imagine if John Jones lived in Hollywood though? If he was like in the movies. He lives in Albuquerque, and the guy's in the news every day. In Albuquerque, he's doing all this stuff. If he was in the hills, if he was on Sunset Boulevard partying. Oh my God, he'd have too much stuff thrown at him. But John needs it. Yeah, man, he just got to stay focused because he's such talent. And every time I start to root for him, something happens, and I'm like, I get reserved again. I'm like, whoa.
So will you root for him again? That's what I'm asking. Like, what will it take for his fans to stop pulling for him?
Yeah.
Will it ever come or?
It's tough. I've never been a diehard John, but I've always respected him as a fighter. I've always loved to watch him compete. He's a guy that every time he fights, you want to see what's going to happen.
Oh, for sure.
And then it's tough for me because I'm big on character. I'm big on respect. Everybody has different personalities, but I like to see people that have something genuine about them, and when you keep messing up or doing these wrong things, it's tough for me to respect you fully. But I love him as a fighter. I just want to see him do well and get out of this negative space.
Yeah, I hope that he can get it straightened out. He's got kids, and I don't necessarily think I think he's a victim of circumstance for a lot of it. You know what I mean? I don't want to. I'm not making excuses, but when you are young, you know, he's the youngest champ. When you're that young and you are in these positions where so much is given to you and so much is offered to you, it is hard to say no to things. You know, it's hard to say no.
I feel like, and it's like he should have this support group. He's got 2 Super Bowl winning brothers. I mean, it's never in the history has that ever happened. 2 Super Bowl winning brothers and a world champion brother. And I don't really see, unless I'm wrong, are these guys in the news getting in trouble as well?
Yeah, Chandler did get in trouble.
The one I was going to say, didn't the younger brother
Chandler got in trouble for artificial marijuana.
Okay, don't talk to Chandler, but go to the older brother. The older brother, he's the straight-laced one.
I don't know. Anyway, but, I do wish Sean well, and I hope that, you know, when he comes back, it's for realsies.
We want to see you fight, dude.
It's for realsies because he's so good to watch. You know, and it's so funny because a lot of people, I think, really didn't like him before because they were like, he just beat all their favorite guys. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That was my whole thing. You're like, that guy.
Yeah, he's demolishing everybody. So.
Winning. And so, you know, you kind of quote unquote didn't like him for that, but it's like every time you watch, it's like you said, you got to watch him.
He's amazing. He's amazing.
You can't not watch him fight. Another guy that you always have to watch. I'm sorry, I don't care if you think you hate Conor McGregor. I don't care. I mean, obviously the people who love him are watching, but Conor is must-see TV.
He's always must-see TV when he's fighting inside the cage, outside of the cage. I love watching him just drive around in his Bentleys in Venice. I mean, love him or hate him, he does fun stuff, man. He says entertaining quotes. He always puts on a show. He puts all the pressure in the world on himself, and he delivers 99% of the time. But, man, he's got a tough fight. I've said it before.
Yeah, this is what I'm wondering because, you know, you're Southpaw. Yeah. I'm wondering if you think that's going to pose a lot of problems to Eddie Alvarez.
Well, you know, it's always an advantage for a lefty to fight a righty because we see it every day and they don't see it every day. Eddie Alvarez, on the other hand, though, he's 20, 30 fights into his career. He's trained with everybody. I don't think that's really a factor. But, yeah, obviously, we're always going to be a little bit better as a southpaw because we do it every day where every 2 or 3 of their sparring partners is a southpaw. So we see it more. But I think the real advantage that Eddie has is going to be obviously in the wrestling department. I said it earlier to you, you know, it's like he's got a chance. Conor has a chance of winning because Eddie gets touched up. Every one of his fights, he gets dropped and comes back.
And Conor touches people.
Conor has a great. He's such an accurate striker. Has long arms. He's the taller fighter, and he has heavy power. So Eddie doesn't want to get touched up. With that said, though, although Conor McGregor has one punch knockout power, you know, we've seen Eddie get rocked, but he always gets rocked. We don't ever see him really get knocked out. Even when he lost in Bellator to Michael Chandler, he got rocked. And Michael Chandler has big power. He proved it recently when he knocked out Pitbull out cold, one punch. He's got big power, and he would rock Eddie Alvarez, but he never put him away. And so I think Eddie has a tendency to get rocked, get caught in positions, but he's got a solid chin. He won't go out. So I think if he can get rocked, keep his wits about himself, continue to take Conor down, I'm picking, I don't know if we'll be doing picks, but I'm just going to run into it. I'm picking Eddie. He's going to out-wrestle him for 5 rounds.
My question is, and I think that's a very solid strategy, I mean, thought out plan there. I mean, it makes a lot of sense, and we saw what he did to Anthony Pettis, a guy who's a very flashy striker as well, and he took him down. And I just remember the parts of the fight where, you know, poor Anthony's looking up and they're like, just like the agony of that. And so clearly, you know, Conor has been working on his takedown defense, and we saw that he stuffed some takedowns from Nate. Well, I mean, not a lot. I know it's not the same.
Nate's got more sweeps and shots, but I get it.
It's not the same kind of fight. But I do think that you know, Conor's very fast. Eddie's not slow, but Conor's very fast. My thing is, you know, I know Eddie's going to have a lot of crowd support there because Philly is not that far from New York. But I don't know if you've been at a Conor fight, but there's fan support, and then there's the Irish. Like, you won't even be able to hear yourself think. Definitely. Do you know what I mean? When he's fighting. And I do wonder, I know Eddie will get to walk last. I know that he is going to be wearing black. He's got the C on the shorts. But I do wonder how much it's going to get to him. I mean, so far he seems pretty cool with his stuff. I mean, he seems a little riled up at the press conferences and stuff. You know, had his line about, oh, here, this is the big boy belt and stuff, which is a little difficult when he's looking at Conor, and Conor's taller and bigger. But I give Eddie a lot of credit for keeping it together so far and knowing how good he is. And most people don't beat Dos Anjos. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, now Tony has, but you know, at the time, you know, Rafael was reigning and wrecking people. So I don't know. I guess my point is, physically and skill-wise, sure, Eddie can totally win. It's going to be that other element, those intangible things and how they affect him. And we know that they affect Conor in a very positive way.
Yeah, he uses
you know what I
it
mean?
every
Exactly.
single fight. It's
exactly.
to his advantage.
So he has all that going. He also is coming off a fight where he was able to land a lot on a bigger guy and weather a lot from a bigger dude, pushing down on him, pressing down on him. Yeah, it'll be a question of takedown defense, I'm guessing. And even though we were just talking about Rafael being nervous of Tony shooting in, you know, and grabbing his head, but I wonder, you know, you go for those shots. Conor's got those quick little ask your boy Poirier about that quick little stuff that you don't quite.
I know. Leave him alone.
Sorry, I like Dustin too, but like.
I think Conor's gonna fight real rangy. You know, he always does good at he'll throw it's not even a push kick. It's kind of like a toe teep. He teeps people in the ribs, and it sucks. And Machida does it all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think he's gonna fight real long. He's gonna be careful with those, not to get taken down, but he's gonna throw a lot of long teeps. He's gonna be real rangy with his punches and just trying to stay on the outside. And yeah, obviously Eddie needs to get in and do what he does best on the inside. But exciting fight, man. I can't wait to see it.
It's gonna be great. And before that, there's so many good fights.
It's stacked. Who do we want to talk about? We just talked to Chris Weidman.
We did. So here's the thing. Yeah, we talked to Chris Weidman before we did the podcast today. So we'll be putting that interview out separately. But Chris,
he's relaxed. He's confident, by the way.
He is. And it's funny because you forget how long it's been. It's been almost a year since we've seen Chris. Yoel isn't also the most active guy either. So in that respect, it's sort of kind of almost a fair fight. But that's very tough. But I thought Chris's demeanor. He seemed cool. He seemed pretty confident to me.
Yeah, he's a focused guy. Yeah, he didn't sound at all like anything was getting to him. I mean, we talked to him about obviously fighting at home. Him being one of the forefronts, the people that brought this to New York, with that being the added pressure. And it's just different. You know, he also mentioned, like, you know, it's different for me as well, like fighting close to home. You're so used to like getting on board the plane, going to the hotel, being in that environment. Then when you're sitting on your couch and you have to like you said, take a bus over to the hotel the next day. It's different. But I think, you know, he's a former champion. He's been there before. He's fought the best guys in the world. I think he's gonna, you know, he's up for the challenge.
And like he said to us too, he's been the champion. He's been the main event. And granted, there is a bigger crowd in Madison Square Garden. It's a bigger thing. But Chris has been in that position of having all eyes on him and has been fine. But also in this one, we talked to him about Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and Tyron Woodley, because Wonderboy is not only his brother-in-law, but you know they train together and all this. So he has a lot of opinions on how that fight will go. So it's definitely worth checking that out.
She's torn.
Here's the thing.
She works with both of them.
I mean,
she doesn't want to get in trouble.
It's not even that. I can tell.
Who's the better dancer?
I think probably Tyron is a better dancer. And that's not just by like assumption. I'll say it this week, because I haven't seen Steven dance.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean? Maybe he's great. I don't know. Maybe he's great. No. Tyron is fast enough to close that distance.
Explosive, very explosive.
Fast enough to get in there, land something, and get out of the way again. Obviously, you know, you need it's like you either need to be in close enough with Steven, right, or way the hell out of range, right? I feel like you can describe more how Steven fights, because you like your kicks, you like to keep, you know, you like to sort of type tag and then rush in on people, and I feel like Steven has that ability to kick you from anywhere if you're in that range, but I don't think Tyron's going to be dumb enough to just stand there. Yeah, no, Tyron's a smart fighter, and like you said, he's got big power. He reminds me of
Chris even said he's kind of like a, who did he compare him to? Ellenberger.
Yes.
Kind of like an Ellenberger. I also see him kind of like a Hendricks because he's a big-bodied guy with big, heavy hands and good wrestling, but he's much more explosive than Johnny Hendricks.
And much better conditioned than Johnny Hendricks.
Yeah. He always comes in on weight. He's always ripped up.
Right.
He's a better Johnny Hendricks in my eyes. But man, Steven has this amazing sidekick that he always competed in kickboxing with, and he keeps people at bay. He keeps them at distance with that quick sidekick, and he's always switching stances. And I'm curious to see. He's obviously not going to make the same mistake of circling into Tyron's power. He'll probably switch up his stances, use the teep kick a lot to keep him at bay, switch stances. Then he has really good blitzes coming forward with a lot of strikes very fast. So it's an exciting matchup. I'm going to go on a pick on that one as well. I've already said it. I think Steven's distance and rangy striking is going to do enough, because if Tyron can't land the big punch early on and the takedowns aren't working, takedowns, Chris said it, coming off the interview, it takes a lot of, it's a commitment. You go for a takedown, you're saying, I'm going to take a bunch of my gas tank and go for this. If he doesn't get it and his arms start getting fatigued, and now he's got to put up with 5 rounds. If it was a 3-round fight, I think the percentages would lie in Tyron's favor more.
But here's my question to that, though. Yes, takedowns take more out of you, but this is his bread and butter all of his life.
Yeah.
I think he understands the energy expulsion and how to maintain his energy. That's what he does. You know, just as Steven will know how to pace his own fight with the kicks and how to Tyron, that's what he comes from. I think he knows how to time out the explosiveness and when to reset and when to I don't think the fatigue, I don't think that's going to be as big a factor. I agree, though. Taking somebody down it takes a lot more energy out of you. But it's also that, Steven's not a giant dude that's going to be harder to take down.
Steven looks very tall and lean, he looks like he's 6'2" on TV, but he's my height. He's my size. He's 6 foot even. He doesn't cut that much weight. He's not that big. He just fights very rangy. It's deceptive.
He does. What I do love about Steven, too, though, is the fact, you were talking about, his switches, he doesn't telegraph stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so dangerous. But I don't think Steven, I don't think Tyron will just stand there in front of him.
So who is your pick, Karyn? We're gonna put her on the spot right here.
I have a lot.
You gotta give us a pick.
I gotta say Ant still.
Yeah, there you go. I knew it.
But not easy.
Yeah, by decision? Or does he catch him? I don't see him winning by decision.
I don't see him winning by decision either. I think if he gets him, I could see it.
If he hurts him, he gets on top of him.
Because as we said, Jake Ellenberger has knocked Steven down.
Yeah, exactly. He does get caught.
If he gets caught, and I don't know. Here's the thing too. I think that Steven rebounds from a loss way easier in terms of fan support, and I feel like Steven is it's newer in his career. I feel like, I'm not saying he isn't ready, because I think he's totally ready. I feel like it's literally comes down to Tyron's not gonna let that shit happen. Literally. That's what my pick is based on, him going no.
Yeah.
Not how people are.
And I can see that because he's got that type of personality where he's so focused and he's really good at what he does.
Right. Everybody says failure's not an option, but it's legit not. It's legitimately not an option there. But I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't.
Your bet is in. There's no more. I don't know. She's got Tyron by finish. Because
I think
I've got Steven
by finish or.
See, Steven has 2 options. I think he could win by decision
or head kick KO.
But let's just make it exciting. I guess he's going to finish him with something.
Head kick KO.
Yeah, something. Yeah, hurt him to the body.
Like how he did to Jake.
Kind of like or Jay, wow! If he did that, if he pulled that out,
I don't know.
Our bets are
I don't know. I'm taking Joanna though. I'm taking Joanna because
me too.
You have to.
Because why would you don't want her to get? You don't want her staring you down like that in your face.
I've said this before. I want her to be my best friend. I have such a girl crush on her just
awesome.
Because she's such a badass.
Yeah.
And I just love that she's that petite and so such a little badass. That's my favorite thing. And dope. She's just so good, and she just has that cool. I like her personality.
Who else we have on that?
I don't know. Don't make me think because I don't know.
Evans on that card?
Oh, Sugar's got to win.
Who's Sugar?
He's fighting Tim Kennedy.
Oh, man.
is not easy. Tim Kennedy, everybody says about it, like he feels like 10,000 pounds when he's on top of you. Like he's, and this is Rashad's first fight at middleweight, in forever, so.
I feel like I haven't seen Kennedy fight in
exactly,
quite a while,
he hasn't. He's been off hunting Nazis and killing things, and I don't know. I don't know if he's really been killing
security. I think he opened up like a home security business
something like
or something.
That.
But
I don't know. Look, now I'm gonna be tortured over this.
The tough matchups, man.
There are.
That's why it's the best part of all time.
And I don't even know what the odds are on that Steven Tyron fight. I don't know.
I don't know. We don't know much on this podcast, but listen to us. We are the knowledgeable people, but
the odds are going to change a lot too at weigh-ins and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Rashad too on that fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a crazy weekend, man.
It is crazy.
Fights. I can't wait. I mean, there's like a lot of cards that you watch that are like, you got to watch this card.
Right.
There's a main event, and there's usually a co-main or a co-main. 2 to 3. I mean, there's like 8 or 9 legitimate must-see fights. I know, the
Weidman-Romero fight is like the fourth from it's the coat.
Misha, Tate,
I know.
Rashad. I mean, it's so many good fights.
But yeah, when Rashad's on the prelims, you got something good.
It's crazy.
Dude.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Frankie Edgar and Jeremy Stevens.
That's going to be a barn burner as well. Yeah.
Fight.
Going to be a really...
Who are you taking in that one?
I haven't even thought about that one, other than I can't wait to see these guys like Energizer bunnies for 3 rounds, but
it's gonna be crazy.
Oh man!
So people can come to New York and train with you, right? You're at the Paradise Warrior Retreat.
Yeah, Paradise Warrior Retreat. Check it out. I think it's like ParadiseWarriorRetreat.com or something. It's gonna be at Renzo Gracie's Academy, so you could always call there.
Right by Madison Square Garden.
Right near there, and I think it's Saturday and Sunday. I don't even know. We don't know much on this show, but it's either Friday or Saturday or Sunday. It's me. Rafael dos Anjos was teaching in a seminar. Apparently, after the loss, he opted out. I don't know what happened. Verdum is in now, so if you want to train with the former heavyweight champ, Verdum is teaching. I'm teaching. Renzo Gracie. Frankie Edgar's striking coach, what's his name? Mark Henry. Thank you. And then what's the girl fighter? Valentina
Shevchenko.
Shevchenko.
Yeah.
So it's a good group. Come check it out if you're in New York.
Oh, that'll be fun. Oh, you and Verdum together? That'll be really fun because if anybody, people know, like he's got such a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
And obviously he's got the bomb jiu-jitsu, so so that'll be really fun. So we're going to be doing UFC tonight and Tough Talk live from New York at the Penzi. So it's just kind of this like food hall restaurant thing that's right by Madison Square Garden. So we're doing that on Wednesday. So if you get there, you don't need tickets. People can just come by, and we got like tons of guests coming by for those shows. So that'll be really fun. And then I'm gonna be doing some different press stuff during the week. For Fox, and obviously MMA Heat will be there too, so Wade will be filming all the stuff like the open workouts and media day and all that stuff. Some of that is happening while I'm at Fox, but we'll definitely still have that MMA Heat coverage. And then I'm actually, and I think it's open to fans, I'm hosting a thing at the big Samsung flagship on Saturday during some of the earlier fights. So they're going to have this thing where like fans can come in and have this whole viewing party, and we're going to have, I think Faraz Zahabi's going to be there, TJ Dillashaw, supposedly, maybe even Aljamain Sterling coming down to talk to the crowd and answer some questions while the fights are going. Hey, people might have questions they have about fights and how that stuff works, and so
that's going to be on what?
That's on Saturday during some of the early fights.
Okay,
and so it's at the big Samsung store on like 14th Street or something like that. I'm torn because I'm like I need to be in the building.
Yeah.
But I also like my job.
Yeah.
So
we like money.
Yes, we do. So
fun weekend. Yeah.
A couple of last things we want to get to. Is it a shot or a picture or the video of you guys at the gym?
Man, killed it today. Killed it with some bolt wrestling at Black House. Finished with some technique, and then after that we hit the mannequin challenge. Check it out. I watch World Star. I'm trying to keep up with these challenges. I can't do what is it, Juju challenge? I haven't done any of those, but I'm doing the mannequin, so check it out.
That's fun to watch. And I don't want to end on a sad note, but we obviously here at MMA want to pay respect. So before Alan did the podcast with us, our good friend Pete Cummin did the podcast with us, and he died unexpectedly last week. And I'm only able now, I can talk about it a little bit more now because obviously we had a real rough week. And at some point, we are certainly going to put out a highlight reel and everything. It's real raw and close to home. It's hard to watch. It's not hard to watch. It's hard, but it is. It's hard to go through that.
Yeah.
But I really would love it if people could go back, and we did 63 or so with him, and he's hilarious and such a fun guy, and stopped doing the podcast with us to focus on some other business endeavors that he wanted to do, but such a funny man. and just it's worth going back and looking at some of these. But we just love him. We just really love him. So. I know a lot of people in our fan base too. They really got to know him through the course of this, and it was funny. What was so great about him is we got to introduce. He didn't really know much about fighting, and so through the course of doing this, like he really became such a fan and everything. So I don't know. I really kind of like the fact that we gave him something that he learned to love in life, and we gave something to his children that they can watch for the rest of their life. They can see this stuff with their dad. So if you guys are at home, you need to pour a little out for the high old guy. We used to call him sometimes, which he wasn't really old, and he might have sometimes, but Pete, we love you. We love you. All right, cool. So on social media, people can find you at
Alan Jouban. Check me out, guys.
And are the Versace ads still running?
They're still running, but you know what? I think they need to do like a little holiday push. I'm not seeing the commercial anymore. So come on, Versace.
I know. Well, I still do. I saw one of the things in the Ulta store, and it had this whole display.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. So yeah, Versace. Come on.
See some more of it. Dylan Blue.
Yeah. So I will be. You can find me on Instagram at KB H.E.A.T, on Twitter Karyn Bryant, Facebook Karyn Bryant. Obviously, like I said, MMAHeat.com, MMA Heat on Facebook and Instagram. We're gonna have all kinds of UFC 205 coverage. It's gonna be bananas. So definitely make sure you check it out.
Cool.
Cool.
Good one.
See you next time.
See you guys.